everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous Podcast. My name is DK Diamantes. His name is Bricky. You know why you're here. Before we get into all that, if you enjoyed today's episode and maybe you want to support the podcast, heading over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you can get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in crispy HD digital format. Patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous. Bricky, hit him with the rift.
All right. DK, do you like art?
Of course I love art.
Do you like magnets?
Of course I love magnets.
Hell yeah, roll the clip. Thank you, DK, for that very good segue you definitely intended. This video is sponsored by Displate, that has official licensed Warhammer wall art that you can purchase now. For example, look at him. Look at his power. Look at his presence. Displate is a great option to get tons of wall art because they are magnetizable. They are metal artwork that you can put on your wall without having to put any kind of holes in it. No, you don't need to drill anything. You stick the magnet to the wall, you go bang, and bada bing, bada boom, it's up. There is a ton of variety. They sent me a bunch. You have the Imperial Guard Commissar. They also got that really cool thing, if you can see, where it has like that raised shiny bit on it. You get the Necron Codex cover as well. And because I may have started a World Eater army, we also got Big Karn. Big Karn. He can be bigger. Display is great. Anyone who's ever lived in an apartment knows the woes of putting a few holes in the wall and having the apartment complex be like, yeah, that'll be like $2,000 in wall repairs. It's unobtrusive. It's easy to hang. The artwork looks great. They're sturdy. They're not going to like bend or rip or anything. It is a fantastic option. All the old Displates I got are in the merch office right now, and we're about to add a whole lot more. So if you would like to check out Displate, go down to the link in the description and make sure you use code ADRIC. The discount will be automatically applied if you click the link, but if you forgot, go ahead and use code ADRIC for 22% off of 1 or 2 Displates, or 30% off if you get 3 or more. It is not for very long though, so check it out soon. Thank you for sponsoring this video, Displate, and let's continue with the topic. And we're back.
We're back.
Yay.
Love it.
We love it because they were also sponsoring Evo. Let's go punk. Let's go punk.
I forgot Evo was this weekend, and I tuned in very, very late. Hey, I love a good Ed player. I love a good Ed in Street Fighter 6.
Man, Ed's haircut, I can't with it. I can't do it.
But the energy ball juggle. Oh,
yeah, the You're Mine juggle.
You're mine. Oh, yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Also, before we get off track, right? We Bricky, we have a new poster today. Did you know that we have a new poster today?
I was informed about 5 minutes ago.
Dog, you're gonna hate it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, brother, you're gonna hate it. Hit him with the Shy. Let him see the poster. This is all Shy's idea too. Shy was adamant about doing this one, and I didn't disagree with her. There you go.
Okay, this isn't terrible. I'm okay with it.
Well, it is
it's fine. It's fine.
It is. I can hear in your voice that you're not a fan, though.
Yeah, you know what? You know what? Actually, it's tasteful enough. I'm okay with it.
Tasteful enough. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even notice the hooves.
There's the hooves. There's So this is our very tasteful Tau femboy tea ceremony person.
You know what? You know what? Orchid8.com. You can check it out in the description. You could buy the poster. It's fine. It's fine. I guess I thought other thing. I don't know. I assumed more frightening.
Your lucky Shy is so classy, because I was trying to get her to really sloot this thing up, but she wouldn't do it.
I think maybe I've become jaded.
Dealing with me for an hour every week has made you jaded? Is that what you're saying?
It's not even like 5 minutes into this, and the sarcasm is rolling. The thigh, I saw the thigh highs. They clearly program in Linux. Do you think Tau drones run in Linux?
Probably.
I was thinking to myself, in a weird way, I almost feel like it would have been more behoove of it to be like Eldar.
Did you say more behooved? Nice. Let's give the man a round of applause for fitting in the word behooved while talking about a Tau poster. This man is a wordsmith, an absolute god among words. Well done, brother. Well done. I salute you. I wasn't even thinking like that. Well done, dude. Lord. Well done.
Good Lord. All right. Let's talk about Warhammer stuff.
Okay. Let's do it. We actually have an episode today, folks. It's not just me being a sarcastic ass for, an hour and a half.
Isn't that what our episodes normally are?
Well, at least now it'll be on topic. Instead of just about the Tau poster that you can get at orchid8.com.
Usual thing. Hey, Shai, do you have any quotes for this? I don't think I got like a couple, but they're not they don't provide enough for it.
Were you searching?
You know what?
For a quote,
you know what?
I got a quote. Ridiculous.
No, I got a quote. I got a quote for you. Okay.
Okay. All right.
This is. Oh, okay. That's a pretty.
Oh, so we're doing orcs today, huh?
All right. Here's your quote, DK. Let's see if you get this one. All right.
Okay.
Armageddon, a world whose name is known across the Imperium. Armageddon, a world whose name has become a byword for war and destruction on a massive scale. Armageddon, where the fate of 1,000 worlds hangs in the balance. All right, what do you think today's episode's about?
Are we doing the Battle of Armageddon by any chance? Are we doing?
No.
Are we doing just Armageddon?
No, we're doing the war for Armageddon. Not the battle for Armageddon. That's different.
Please. Sir. Oh, yes. I'm the one that's dripping with sarcasm. Okay.
Someone's got to match your freak.
Oh, you think you're going to match the sarcasm freak? Let's go.
Not really, but I had to throw a song reference out there that I actually know and understand.
Nice. Yeah, and you just had to pick like a Zoomer song too, didn't you? That is a Zoomer song.
It's the only one. Yeah, it's a pretty Zoomer song. It's better than like fucking like coworker ass memes like Hawk to a girl, dog water meme.
Oh yeah, that
Jimmy Fallon looking ass meme.
Yeah, do not like Hawk Tua. Do not love it. Nope.
So it's not. So there are 3 wars of Armageddon. All right. There's the first war of Armageddon, the second war of Armageddon, the third war of Armageddon. Okay. The first war of Armageddon, I don't know anything about. We're skipping that one. The third war of Armageddon is like the big one. The third war of Armageddon is where you get some really crazy stuff, lots of books, or at least like there's a book about it, lots of lore, all kinds of fun stuff. Now, the second war of Armageddon is kind of like the prelude and the preparation for all of the other stuff.
Okay, so before we get too far into this, why exactly does the first one not exist? Is it just, like, unimportant, nothing happens, it is a complete orc victory, and we don't even need to talk about it? Was it shoddily, poorly written? Why doesn't it exist at all?
Because it's just Inquisition tried to suppress a chaos invasion, and the Space Wolves beat them up, and then it's, like, kept a secret.
Oh, that was Months of Shame? Type stuff? Oh, okay.
The Months of Shame. It's not a first war of Armageddon. It's like, it's all that kind of stuff.
Got you. Okay.
So the third war of Armageddon is the really big one. The really, really big one. And so this is like, the middle ground, the prelude, the simple one to kind of like prep us, to prime us for the third war of Armageddon.
Okay. All right. So second and third, pretty important. First one, never happened.
Oh yeah. Like 100%. And cool. So the second one is important because it is, like Yarrick and Ghazghkull and their real kind of introduction. You may remember a little bit of it because we did do the lovely Ghazghkull Thraka, Prophet of the WAAAGH book.
We did.
We touched on it a little bit during that. But so we're just going to chat a little bit about the Second War of Armageddon. It won't be too long, and this time I actually mean it. Because eventually, when we hop into the Third War of Armageddon, things are going to get a lot more sassy.
Ooh, as we've established, I do love a good bit of sass.
We do love sass.
Also, pour one out for our homie Yarrick. He taken too soon.
Not really. He was taken after a long time, honest to God.
Still too soon.
Okay.
Just ask Ghazghkull. He's pissed about it.
Sure. So, this is what's what we call fan canon, where it like literally does not exist and it's all memes.
I know.
So, the Second War for Armageddon led might be the wrong answer, but like it starts off with a certain gentleman named Herman Von Strab. Now, Herman Von Strab has often been known to be kind of a piss-poor everything. The Princeps Prime of one of the Titan legions referred to him as the greatest waste of flesh and bone born in the last 500 years.
All right. I was going to say his name kind of sounded like a euphemism for, spanking one off. I'm Herman Von Strab, So I don't know. His name immediately kind of hit me in the funny bone.
We're sucking dick. We're sucking dick.
I'm Herman Von Strab. Right? It sounds like it could fit as a euphemism.
You ever seen the Germany thing? I don't know what this translates to, but it just we're sucking dick. We're sucking.
Okay.
I don't know what it translates to, but it gets me every time. Herman Von Strab,
like we care so much.
So Herman Von Strab was the fourth son to his father. He himself eventually wanted to take the throne as the overlord of Armageddon, and he did so the way most political leaders do, which is killing everyone else.
Yeah.
So his eldest brother was killed by a bomb he planted during a dinner, which killed 322 people. His second brother was killed by a hit-and-run driver, and his third brother was killed with a bunch of bolter shells riddling his body. Herman was found on the scene with a smoking bolter, and yet was very loudly convinced that he actually took his own life, which is really, really funny to me that like he's standing there literally with a smoking gun, and he's like, damn, my brother killed himself.
Shoots him. Why would he do that to himself? Right? The meme. Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah, the Eric Andre meme.
Mm-hmm.
So, however, authorities investigating the death were a little too afraid to confront Herman because he was next in the line for the throne. And when his father died from a really painful amount of grief and spider venom poisoning, he took over the planet.
It's funny. Once you said like, oh yeah, he rose to power in the very usual way. In my head, I was like, right. So regicide. And
regicide.
Not too far off from from the goal, but isn't that how every planetary governor works? His dad probably did some awful shenanigans, killed people, lied to people to get to where he is. So it probably runs in the family.
It runs in the family.
Yeah.
So
just like a bolt around.
All of this, Herman Von Strab, nobody runs in your family.
Yeah.
So during this whole time, you may remember a certain Ork. He was this cool guy named Ghazghkull. Now tell me the rest of his name.
Ghazghkull Thraka?
Do you remember the middle part?
Not really. Like, immediately, since it's an Ork name, my mind goes to, like, Ghazghkull WAAAGH or something.
Ooh, you're kind of close.
Ulthway is a completely different species. I clicked on the shy spoiler.
Yeah, it's Ghazghkull. We're sucking dick Thraka.
Ghazghkull
Mag Uruk Thraka. Prophet of WAAAGH. So you may remember from the Ghazghkull Thraka book, for those of you who have not read it, if you want a pretty good story about Ghazghkull, like a B-, That's a pretty all right book. Teaches you a lot about Ghazghkull. He was out there and a Goff, good old Goff, had to deal with some space marines, some beakies, got most of his head blown off.
Yep.
After getting most of his head blown off, he was fixed up by Mad Doc Grotznick and ended up being really smart and also saw a bunch of, visions from Gork and Mork themselves, making Ghazghkull apparently the main prophet for Gork and Mork and rising in the ranks both in strength and size, because that's how orcs work.
Yep, the biggest is the best.
He's also the most clever orc. Ghazghkull is the orc you go to when you want to write a orc character that is actually fiercely intelligent and not just go and crumpen. He has battle tactics and strategy, and he is still the biggest orc.
Yeah, he's the best.
It's kind of like if you may remember from the Big Daka book, the Eldar accidentally pump Uftak with too many growy chemicals that don't kill him, but make him really big and strong. Mm-hmm. And he becomes incredibly intelligent from this.
Yeah.
Isn't
he like a little off-put by how smart he became?
It was a little bit strange, yeah. He was like, that's that thinking thing. So Ghazghkull during this time eventually has to leave his planet because the star is dying. So they board a giant space hulk and head their way out. And where they come to is the planet of Armageddon. Now, initially, they arrive with a large contingent of orc, cruisers, things like that. Mm-hmm. You know how they spell? Hold on, orc cruisers.
Oh, they spell cruiser really funny. It's like CROO.
KROOZER. Kill so cruisers.
It's a kill cruiser.
Yeah, they always have. It's silly stuff, but so they arrive somewhat to Armageddon, blow past a lot of the major, I guess, like some of them are kind of obsolete, but like listening posts and other kinds of satellites, defenses, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And before they actually begin the fight on, as the orcs arrive in system, because I have to do a little bit of back and forth here between the humies and the orcs. Mm-hmm. As the orcs arrive in system, there's a little bit of a warp storm or just some turbulent winds that are kind of preventing a lot of reinforcements from arriving for a bit. Von Strab, because he is, as I repeat, the greatest waste of flesh and bone born in the last 500 years, sees the orc threat and is like, not that big of a deal, honestly. Orcs are dumb. Oh yeah, because orcs are dumb and Xenos and stupid and dumb and stupid.
Oh wow, he is an idiot.
And dumb.
So he doesn't do anything?
I slightly blame Imperial propaganda. We've read the uplifting primer.
True.
But basically he was just like, I'm going to just send out small forces to just kind of clean this up.
Oh.
Basically.
Okay.
So he sends out some ships. They all die. That's not great.
Nope.
Good stuff. He does not have, despite the orcs arriving and the navigators using the Emperor's Tarot and reading like times of great disaster, even the statue of the Emperor in Hive Hell's Reach wept bloody tears. All of like the signs that things are going terrible.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay. When the Emperor's statue starts weeping blood, it might be time to start taking this for serious. It might be time to put aside what you read in the propaganda and be like, you know what? This is probably a big deal. That statue of Big E is crying blood. This seems like a sign. Maybe we should listen.
In irony, he only ever did anything he needed to satisfy his own personal appearances. Only after the orcs finally landed did a distress signal actually go out. That signal was not sent by him. It was sent by Commissar Yarrick, in which Von Strab was like, "You went over my helmet?" and then banished him to one of the hives on the planet known as Hades Hive as a recompense.
Oh, wow. That, fuck this guy. Like,
he's got that egghead looking ass, like... Basically, he was like, I can handle this whole thing on my own. I don't want to bother the Imperium. I'm chilling. Now, naturally, as the orcs are often under appreciated in terms of their fights, he would send poorly ordered forces to go dispose of the orcs, which were then quickly overrun. Mm-hmm. So he decided to do small piecemeal attacks, which were quickly overrun.
Yeah.
And one of the worst and largest blows was he sent the Iron Skull's Titan Legion out to go fight, and like just the Titan Legion. So they were unsupported by other versions of Imperial Guard, and the Titan Legion all died.
Ooh, that's losing a Titan Legion is a huge deal. Sheesh. So is he doing all of this? I'm assuming this is a combination of he's a bad leader, and also orc propaganda makes them seem like, oh, it's just the orcs, you know, you can just easily wipe them away, because obviously he'd never seen an orc outside of like what the propaganda was.
I mean that, and he's also just like a totally inept political leader and military leader, and he's just a total ass.
Mm-hmm. Definitely more so that, but also a little bit of, don't worry, it's just the orcs. Look at what book says about orcs. They're stupid. Who cares?
Yeah. No,
a lot of inept that's going around.
A lot of inept. And so, and also, like, Gaz is also just really smart, because he's Gaz.
True. Yeah.
He's a big brain.
Usual sort of orc. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was also a big part of it, that whole thing. Meanwhile, the orcs were landing in droves, and as Shai stated, one of the biggest and most powerful things that the orcs did was dropping a gigantic asteroid rock from orbit called the World Killer, just directly into the planet, which I believe destroyed an entire hive just outright. I'm trying to remember.
Ooh.
Oh, it was a Space Hulk. Sorry, the Space Hulk was the World Killer. I forgot it was named the World Killer. So yeah, after, it was the Space Hulk he grabbed. So, you know, on the onset of the planet, he was like, he just rammed it. He absolutely slammed the damn thing directly into the world and caused massive tectonic shifts and major issues to the planet, and also killed like half of his own orcs.
Wow, wait, so he just crashed a Space Hulk into the planet?
Yeah, he just threw it at it, because Ghazghkull might be smart, but he's still an orc. So,
that is... Yeah, that'd cause a few tectonic shifts, and that would kill a few orcs and humans in the process. Sure. Holy jeez. So he kind of pulls an Abaddon and just... Yeet!
He just kind of throws it. But like, orcs do that a lot. They throw asteroids and, like, giant chunks of rock at stuff. That's just, like, part of their... You know, the orbital bombardment of an orc is, like, taking the most recent hunk of rock and just throwing it at something.
Yeah. They're the ones that'll routinely strap rockets to the back of asteroids and shit they find and just, like, turn those things on full blast and use them as weapons, right?
Yeah, it's like what they say, you know, the AdMech... it's so funny looking. The AdMech will open up an orc vehicle and open up the engine block and see a big rock that's just painted with vroom vroom on it.
Is that true? Is that?
I don't know. It's one of those things where, like, if it was in the lore and it was true, I'd believe it. But I also believe that it's like just like a fan joke. The point being is, like, it's orc stuff, you know?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because it doesn't have to. Just the orcs have to believe it, so who cares?
Exactly. It is pretty funny at first, but then you see it arrive and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's a little part in the War for Armageddon Codex, the Codex Armageddon from, 19 something? 2000? I think it's 2000, year 2000.
I was about to be like, is it older than Bricky?
No, not yet, but it's getting there. Where one of the generals was gazing out into the ash dunes of Armageddon, and he had the 5 Warlord battle titans of the Iron Skulls Legion, a whole bunch of like a dozen companies of Leman Russes, the Armageddon Steel Legion, and all their chimeras, 30,000 men riding in the chimeras, Bane blades and shadow swords and batteries of artillery. And he looked at the south where all the orcs were gathering, and there were the orcs, a dozen gargants all up there, smaller vehicles. But then he noticed that the ash desert was just not brown. It was green.
No, it was green, yeah. Ooh.
The whole thing was green. And because of that, he was like, good God. Like, I don't even know if we have enough men for that.
Yeah, you probably don't. It is the orcs, so yeah, there's a good chance you do not have enough people for that. Good luck.
So, after all of Ghazghkull's shenanigans and stuff arrive and fight, things get really bad. A lot of the Hive cities start getting, that famous image of Armageddon. It's wild.
Yeah, that is... Actually, I think you've shown me that picture before.
There's a good chance that was actually...
crazy. Yeah, that's... Just looking at that picture, it's like, so the Humies lose, right? Because, wow.
Armageddon Secundus, the second major hive, was where a lot of the fighting took place. Because this hive had Hades' hive in it, which was where Yarrick was banished for calling for help.
Mm-hmm.
Because holy hell.
Yeah, because why wouldn't anybody should be calling for help in this situation, but he's
the major and impressive part of Hades' hive defense was Commissar Yarrick's ability to outdo all of Ghazghkull's fantastic planning. And this is where actually Commissar Yarrick is often referred to as the hero of Hades' hive. A major amount of the fighting occurred here, and Ghazghkull, being Ghazghkull, is got a pretty big brain and has the power of Gork and Mork, and so he had great strats. Like, he would often send out orc commando squads to go into the pipes and areas of the hive and like destroy the defenses. And Yarrick would also send his own commandos and high class like stealth soldiers into these areas to also meet them in battle and be really smart about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so none of the orc commandos were able to live. Ghazghkull was like, all right, I'm going to shell Hades' hive with artillery into oblivion.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yarrick sent out Imperial soldiers with bombs strapped to their chests to run out and blow the hell out of these artillery things and, not care about getting back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, smart, sure.
Smart stuff there. Eventually, Ghazghkull himself decided, you know what, maybe it's time for the classic style. The good old shenanigans used by by all the orcs, which is just run in there head first and like lead the charge himself, in which then good old Yarrick was able to counteract that with his own, layers of guns and own, transport stuff and outmaneuver and outflank. There's always some counter. He always figured out some kind of counter to keep Hades' hive alive, keep the hive solid, and stop Ghazghkull from taking down Armageddon Secundus. That was his claim to fame.
Yeah, so Ghazghkull must be kind of infuriated, but also this is a good crumpin'. He's in a good fight. So he's probably all about this. No wonder there's such, I don't want to say frenemies, because they're not frenemies. They're just enemies that want to kill each other, but, a small rifle.
Ghazghkull has respect for Yarrick. Yarrick could care less.
Of course,
which is
course.
Super ironic, because normally it's the reverse, But yeah, I would go with that. But hey, you want to read that quote with your patented orc voice?
Patented. You is all weak scum that deserve to get stomped. Except for one old Yarrick. He knows how to fight. It's Ghazghkull.
Yeah, it's Gaz. He's a guy.
It's Ghazghkull. He has a little bromance with Yarrick. Oh no, I shouldn't say that because the Warhammer. There's probably a niche Warhammer fan group out there that most unabashedly ships Yarrick and Ghazghkull, and I don't even want to think about that because that's Ghazghkull and that's an orc.
Considering how little it took to get a Gilliman Yvrain thing, wouldn't quite surprise me, but we can just roll through that.
Yeah, let's just roll right over that one. Let's just toss a world killer onto that and just move on.
Yeah, like, let's also forget, Yarrick, didn't Inquisitor Amberly Vale of Caiaphas Cain literally said, I've met Yarrick. He's the worst person I've ever spoken to in my life. He's so boring.
Yes, she did. Poor Yarrick, though. But he's, like, every piece of, like, art of Yarrick is so cool. And, like, look at him in that one. The Chipo is just standing menacingly there with his one crushy arm and the eye and all the tanks. He's so cool. Do not besmirch poor Yarrick. Do not speak ill of the dead.
I will absolutely speak ill of the dead. The moment Erebus dies, I'm gonna speak so ill of him. I'm gonna go to his funeral, and I'm gonna do that one thing that is in that one Family Guy skit where they're at like the Vietnam War memorial, and then the Vietnamese guy comes up and is like, I know that guy. He cried like a bitch.
What's the meme?
Vietnam #1.
What's the meme? Going to my ops' funeral to make sure his ass is really dead.
Wait, what? Is that like a Dracula Flow thing? It sounds like it is.
I don't know. I just remember that being a meme from somewhere. It does
damn.
sound. That sounds like a Dracula Flow thing, though. Absolutely, it does.
It's very Dracula Flow coded. Dracula coded. Anyway, yeah, no, I mean, Yarrick hates Ghazghkull with all his might because he's a commissar of the Imperial Guard, but sure. Ghazghkull is like, yeah, interesting.
Oh, let me make a good orc.
Yeah. So that's where a large amount of the fighting occurs, is in Hades Hive for a while. And what really turns the tide and kind of stops them, like this was the first like actual blocker. Because for the rest of it, the orcs were just barreling down everybody.
So this is what stopped the orc advance, was they got to Hades Hive and they just could not get past Yarrick.
Pretty much.
Nice job, Yarrick. Damn. Stopping a green tide is no small feat.
It's good stuff. It's the main thing that stops it. And then the tide shifts when Space Marines arrive, because of course.
Of course. Sure.
So help finally arrives after as the siege of Hades Hive continues. The main forces that arrive would be the Salamanders with Chapter Master Tushan. I believe also the Ultramarines, but also very importantly, the Blood Angels. Commander Dante himself arrives here and in a extremely based moment, goes immediately to Von Strab, says, this is now under my control, arrests him, and puts him in jail for negligence, assassination, and murder.
Oh, let's go, Dante! I was going to say, the fact that Dante himself showed up is like, whoa. Like, this is like a serious thing. And the Imperium was like, hey, listen, we need to get this under control. Send Dante. I always liked Dante. Now I like him even more that he took Herman Von Strab and was just like, yeah, you shut him in a cell. Get him out of here. I like it.
He took over almost immediately,
Good
which is, as he should. He is Commander Dante. He's a major force.
Huge force.
So as they arrive, that's when things start to really make a change. They start dropping in behind enemy lines, trying to assassinate Gaz. In a hilarious situation, they attempt to capture Gaz by going, like I said, behind enemy lines and assaulting his headquarters. Mm-hmm. But Ghazghkull, being Ghazghkull, was out in the front lines at the time because he was out crumping.
Yeah, he would be. That's true. Going behind enemy lines and trying to be like, oh, yeah, surely the commander is back here. It's like, nope. You went to the wrong end of the fighting, brother. So Gaz.
It's so gas. Yeah, it's like, you normally, I mean, Dante probably would have known this, but regardless, even though they didn't get Gaz, this did really ruin a lot of the Orc Spearhead because you have like drop pods and Thunderhawks behind you and these are the Beakies are here, so they're doing a lot of nasty tactics.
Yeah, now you're getting attacked from both sides. The Hades Hive is attacking you, and then you're getting attacked by all these giant Beakies and Space Marines behind you. Yeah, that's gonna cause some problems. That is gonna put a big stop to any plans you had. Sure.
There is actually one thing I glossed over that I think is kind of fun to chat about. When Yarrick was defending Hades Hive, there was a lot of cool stuff he was doing in the Hive, particularly like making deals with gangs and other things like that. And like Commissar Yarrick was deep in the Hive, and so he was out there making like Imperial deals with some of the biggest scum in the lower dredges of the Hive, and like to fight back and really do that kind of stuff. It's actually pretty cool of him to be doing stuff like that.
I mean, because in this situation, you have to use every fighter you can, and it's like, well, y'all might be killers, thieves, thugs, assassins, but it's like, well, that's kind of exactly what I need right now. So every able-bodied man, get your ass out there. So that it makes sense. It's a logical thing for him to do that.
They were literally surviving off almost nothing but like rats and bugs for a while. Like there were no food, low supplies, like it was anything they could. They were organizing street gangs and like all their makeshift vehicles and stuff. That's where a lot of the suicide bombers came from. That's right. They had the giant like loading cranes. And they welded themselves into them so that they could fight the Gargants with like giant shifting cranes and stuff, like smash into them with the big cranes. It's really fun,
Use whatever you can. As soon as you said they were surviving off bugs, my stupid brain, the first thing I thought was, Hakuna Matata, right?
What?
Hakuna Matata. It means no worries.
Yeah, I know. Is that really what it means?
I don't know. It's a fucking Lion King thing where they start eating bugs in the jungle.
Yeah, I don't know, man, but like I don't know. I don't think
I
trusted you.
Didn't they just make it up for the song?
I don't know.
For the movie,
brother.
You have seen The Lion King, have you not?
When I was like 6.
What? One time?
Yeah.
Wow, really? You've only watched The Lion King once?
Yeah, dude.
It means no worries. For the rest of your days, it's our problem-free philosophy.
Remember when Shai was like, the old Sherlock books, he thinks like the earth is flat or whatever because he had to push that information out of his brain?
Yeah.
How many episodes into the 40K lore podcast are we in?
You pushed out the Lion King?
The Lion King is gone, brother.
Couldn't you push out some of this Zoomer humor SpongeBob shit? The Lion King is important.
Unfortunately, SpongeBob is better than the Lion King, and you can't argue because you haven't seen it. And I've seen both.
Ooh, you know what's gonna kill the podcast? That opinion. Ooh,
no way, brother.
Ooh,
no
tell
way.
me more about Hades Hive before I walk.
Go watch Bluey like an adult, like a weird adult.
I have never watched an episode of Bluey. I gotta be honest with you, but anyway,
or an episode
Hades,
of SpongeBob, but it's because you have no taste.
Do you watch Bluey?
No.
Okay. Well, okay.
Demeki's daughter, used to watch a lot
to
of
be
Bluey.
fair, I was gonna say Demeki has a family. Of course, he's gonna watch Bluey, right? He's a good dad. He's gonna watch the stuff with the kids.
You know who didn't watch Bluey? Von Strab.
Nice deja vu, buddy. Hades Hive. Von Strab he's just sitting rotten in a cell, right? He is just basically waiting until the Imperium executes him for being an absolute incompetent buffoon. Yeah?
The irony occur with that, though, is that Von Strab actually escapes, steals a land speeder, escapes, crashes the land speeder, but then is never found.
So he could still be out there somewhere because they never found his body. Man, that sucks. That dude deserved to have some absolutely insane, like torturous, bloody end where like the sisters did something to him and just like cut open his stomach and splayed his innards out for everyone to see or something.
Okay, a little chaos pilled.
I am a Thousand Sons guy, so, you know.
Well, then you just don't have any innards to splay.
That's true. Well, that's why I want to see him, because I'm like, what do innards actually look like? Wow, it's not dust. Wow, look at all this stuff that's flying out. What the hell? You know? Experiments.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Well, Thousand Sons
We'll
hell
go
breach
with
or
that,
something like that. What the hell? Why the hell not? So, no, Von Strab does bail. He does eventually be able to like bail out, but for the most part, this is kind of when the major tides shift for the Second War of Armageddon. Dante and the Salamanders arrive. I believe Tushan himself has his giant flaming sword, does battle with various Ork war bosses.
Nice.
And, you know, for the most part, despite all of the insanity that was occurring from all the Orks, they were able to push them back. Ghazghkull himself got hit by a bolter and took a decent amount of damage, but was never found.
Of course.
For classic Ghazghkull things.
Yeah, you can't kill Ghazghkull.
No, yeah, well, I mean, you can't at the current moment.
Shh. But right now, you can't kill Ghazghkull.
Wait. What is this? A Hume version of the story?
Oh, yeah, what? So Shai said, this is Hume version of the story. We know the real story as told by Makari himself. First of all, Orks were about to take the Hive and win the war, and even Yarrick realized that it's time to abandon the city and was near fatally wounded by Gaz himself before being saved by overhyped Mary Sue child soldiers. Also, Gaz could stay and win, but he gave up on Armageddon War because he was depressed since he felt no satisfaction from war because his brain got too big and he felt like a fake Orc, so he was not defeated by Humies, he was defeated by lack of antidepressants. Okay, Shai. that is.
No,
so we've all got the mask on right now, and it's
no. She's not wrong.
It?
She's not entirely wrong. She's got a slight point. She's a little shenanigans, but Ghazghkull absolutely at a point was like, this is just not what Gork and Mork are intending. This is not what Gork and Mork want. They don't want me to do it like this. They don't want this to be, how it's supposed to be, basically.
Okay. The gods had different plans. He didn't feel like he was serving them properly, and it's just, you can't win like that. Your god's got to be satisfied.
Yeah, like it's not going to be. It was a long, boring war of attrition, and that's not what Gork and Mork want.
Yeah, you don't have there are no orcish Pyrrhic victories. They don't want that. They want just to yep.
No, that is not what they're intended and what they're hoping for. So because of that. As Shai says, the Mary Sue human soldiers, the Space Marines, break all the Orc lines. The invaders start to dwindle in their numbers. Yarrick himself being one of the only few people with his ragtag group of soldiers in Hades' Hive, rescued by the remaining Space Marines. Ghazghkull is like, you know what? This ain't it, Chief. Boards his own Space Hulk uses his own Space Hulk as a distraction, slips away, gets his way out of Armageddon, and eventually that is kind of just where the Second War of Armageddon ends.
Oh, so Ghazghkull was literally like, Armageddon the hell out of here.
Oh, God damn.
At some point, I had to. As soon as I knew it was Armageddon, at some point, I had to do it. I'm sorry. And this was the perfect opportunity. I apologize to everyone, but it had to be done.
You don't apologize for shit.
Well, I like to at least pretend like I was gracious enough to, apologize.
You're a liar and a thief.
Whoa, a liar may be. I have never stolen.
You're a thief of the truth.
Well, actually, fair enough.
It's his own thing.
Fair enough,
no, but for the most part, the Second War of Armageddon is really, really tiny. There's a little the Codex Armageddon blurb for it, but it basically is one of those things where
it doesn't seem tiny. It seems huge.
Well, it's only one planet.
Well, I guess you're right. It is one planet. Big war of attrition on that planet. But yeah, I guess you're right.
It is a huge war of attrition. But it's kind of cute though. The Codex Armageddon itself is one of those see for yourself type things. So you get like the history of Armageddon, you get Von Strab being a shitter, you get Yarrick's defense of Hayes Hive, you get Ghazghkull arriving, and then it eventually segues into the third Armageddon war, which when you go through the tiny little 2000 era codex, it's like, you can determine the fate for Armageddon. Here are what the Ork units are, and here is what the Imperial units are. Fight in this area for these kinds of glory.
Oh. So they turned it into, like, a thing that the community could, like, do stuff for? And, like, determine the fate of Armageddon?
It's less that, more so like a fun little Crusade era concept where it's like, hey, you can, these are the things you do, and you can, because remember back in 2000s and stuff, tabletop gaming is very lore heavy,
true.
almost entirely,
right? Less gameplay,
so it's just kind
more
of
lore, sure.
Yeah, you're LARPing. You're LARPing a bit with all of your models and stuff, which was fun, and so they added a little bit of that kind of jazz to it all.
Okay.
And so that was the main thing, like the segue. It's like, here is the lore for the second War of Armageddon. Now play the third.
Oh, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Didn't they do something like that before where, like, I remember Kirioth was talking about it with us one time, where it was like you could submit the outcomes of your battles to determine, like, the lore of the thing, and it had to be done by specific GW people that had to watch it or confirm it. Is this that?
No, it is not that.
Okay.
Well, unless Shai can tell me otherwise. But you're referring to the Fall of Acadia, the Black Crusade.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that's what that was. Okay.
Well, remember, it was like the original one that they eventually changed up.
Yeah, right. They retconned it. Right. Okay.
Yeah. Hit us with it, Shai. Would you like to read that part?
Sure. Shai has some post-credits for Second War of Armageddon. Yarrick begged Inquisition to track down Gaz and make sure he was dead, but they ignored him since, orcs do not tolerate failure, so Gaz will be killed or discarded by the rest of the orcs, and we will never hear from him again. Yarrick said, "No, you fucking idiots," and went to track him down on his own, and eventually succeeded, only to be captured by Gaz. Yarrick was then brought before Ghazghkull, and to the Commissar's surprise, the war boss gave him a shuttle and let him go. Ghazghkull stated that good enemies were hard to come by and felt that the war boss's planned reinvasion of Armageddon would be much more fun with Yarrick on the other side. Yarrick arrived back on the planet 2 weeks before the invasion began. By overwhelming vote, he was offered supreme command of all Imperial forces on the planet, and then Gaz arrived, and the real fun begins.
Yes, the new general that had arrived for the third War of Armageddon basically had Yarrick arrive as well. And the general, because he's not Von Strab, said, "Yeah, you know a lot more about this than I do. I've given you command. I'll do my best."
Yeah, that's a good call. If you are even remotely competent as an officer, and Yarrick shows up, and you have a conversation with Yarrick about, like, the second Armageddon War, it's like, yeah, you know what? You go ahead and take this. You take this, Cap. Nope. I got no chance of outdoing it. Yeah, you know what? You just tell me what to do. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, too. I mean, Yarrick is the one who has the most orc fighting experience. Armageddon Steel Legion has a lot of orc fighting experience. And he gets it. He understands. Especially considering that he was also captured and then used for humorous experiments by Gaz. Granted, they weren't really, I guess they were less experiments. They were more like giving him opportunities to escape and stuff, and seeing how he does it. Because he's like, we got to understand the Humies and how they do their stuff. I can't do the voice like you can do the voice.
We got to understand how the Humies do stuff. We got to understand how they think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
Hey, just tell me when you need an orc voice. I got you.
So besides that, though, there are a couple. I mean, I guess we could chat a little bit about Yarrick real quick, and the stuff that Yarrick has.
Best boy Yarrick. Sure.
So Commissar Sebastian Yarrick is his full name. He, as you know, Hero Hayes Hive, the whole thing. He has also known as the old Bale Eye because he has the laser eye, which is always funny as hell. Bale. Curse you, Bale!
Sorry, I can't hear that word anymore, man, and not immediately go into it. I can't.
That's fair. His model is not great. It is also not something you can use anymore, as he has been phased out and is dead.
Oh man, that mini is. I think that old mini would be fine if not for that awful sculpted face. Holy.
The face is a big part of it, yeah.
The rest of it is fine. Could it be better? Sure, but that face makes him look like a fucking zombie.
It does make him look really weird. I mean, he's an old man and all that, but...
Yeah.
As you know, he lost his arm and had it replaced with an Ork power claw that they were able to refit. He has his... he has his bolt pistol, but he also has a mastercrafted las pistol as well as a Godwin pattern storm bolter as his main firearm, which is pretty impressive.
Yes, sir. Let's go. Storm bolter? Jeez.
Yeah, one-handed, which is kind of insane, but hey,
he's one-handing a storm bolter?
You can see him right there. There's a storm bolter in his hand.
Oh yeah, I guess so. I was thinking like he would be one of the few humans that could use like a space marine bolter just because he's got that power claw, and it's like, oh yeah, normally a human could not handle the power of a bolt gun, but it's like, hey, I've got a power claw, like I can do it, Dad. I'm good.
I mean, a combination of both is always the best.
Fair.
The other. And besides that, though, the only other thing that really, really hits him besides his laser eye is the fact that the dude is just like steel-willed. Like he takes a lot of hits and he just kind of keeps going. His mind is an absolute fortress, just completely mentally sound, like crazy. He says he has never had to. Yes, you have to normally, but it's also said that he has never had to execute an officer serving alongside him for cowardice because he is that inspirational. He is that good at keeping people on his side.
What a guy. But yeah, I was going to say, to fight the orcs and to be as much of a force against the orcs that they believe you to be just a god, you'd have to be just mentally a steel trap and just like the most indomitable man ever.
I also would like to point out that he has his own Baneblade he rides atop of, which is hilarious because it is one beautiful model.
It's that one!
Yes, it's very much not like a thing you buy from GW. It's been sculpted in its own way. And,
yeah, it's the Fortress of Arrogance.
The Fortress of Arrogance.
Love it. That's a great looking Baneblade. Holy.
And as Shai posted, he once had to abandon it to orcs after it got shot down, and he organized a whole invasion to get it back because it would boost morale of his troops. And he did get it back, and it did boost the morale of the troops.
Of course. Do orc players like to take the Fortress of Arrogance and maybe orcify it a little bit? And
orc players
specifically,
orc players orcify a stick of deodorant. Orc players will also orcify. Orc players orcify Baneblades all the damn time.
I was gonna say, Shai, you have a couple of kit bashed Baneblades, don't you?
It is I think Kirioth has one.
Oh, of course. Well. Kirioth probably has like 100 Baneblades, right?
No, he Iron Warrior-ified his. I think actually, I think I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's orcifying Baneblade. It's just such a cool tank, you know.
True. Fair enough.
Diluted Baneblade.
Diluted Baneblade.
And as for Ghazghkull, I mean, there's not really much to talk about Ghazghkull in terms of his war gear. He was in like a big mech. He had a big claw. He had a shooter, like a big auto shooter. He hasn't had that big new body yet. because
he
that
doesn't
arrives.
have the big... Right, he wouldn't.
Yes, this is old Ghazghkull.
Right. Which makes him even more impressive that he's doing all this without his big, crazy body.
Yeah, he just looks like a big orc war boss, if I'm being perfectly honest. He's not like that.
Yeah, he's not
different,
truly
I guess.
kitted out and monstrous yet.
No, his giant one arrives when his head's cut off by Ragnar Blackmane.
Yeah. The Ghazghkull we all know and love.
He's a big boy.
He's putting it mildly. He is a gargantuan figure. Love the word gargantuan. So rarely get a chance to use it.
Marlon Gaz has a truck engine for a heart. I imagine it's like a heart that just says vroom vroom on it as well.
They're orcs. It might be.
His
God,
presence
his
got
mini's
so
so
powerful. Great. It's so good.
Oh.
His presence got so powerful from his new size that he actually serves as an orc version of the Astronomicon and can be seen by orcs in the warp as a massive psychic beacon, which makes sense that he is therefore the prophet of the Great WAAAGH.
Yeah, that does make sense. Because everybody knows where he is. He's the North Star. Just follow that. Just follow Gaz's beacon, and you're in for a good crumpin'. Yeah, makes sense.
It's good. He's a fun guy, but he comes back.
He's a fun guy. I see what you did there. That's very clever. Very, very new age orc joke there, my friend. Never heard it before.
What?
The fun guy? Because he's a fun guy? He's an orc? He's a fungus?
Oh, he's fun guy. Oh, that is good. That is good.
No, it's not. I thought you did that on purpose. Good. I thought you did that.
I did it. But that is kind of good, though. I don't mind that one.
You wouldn't. All right. What else is great about this fun guy?
I mean, nothing really. I mean, we're talking about the old version of Gaz. The new version of Gaz is much different. But
true.
Yeah, I do like casualties, orcs. Nearly all orcs killed or fled. Humans, most of the planet destroyed. Yeah. What a lovely war. What's that? An Imperial Pyrrhic victory? No way.
Man, you love to see it. You love to see the Imperial Pyrrhic dub. Let's go.
I'm shook and shocked, my friend.
It
shook
never
and
happens.
Shocked.
It never happens to them. They never. What?
This is so new to me.
Yeah.
How could this happen to me?
I've made my mistakes.
Got nowhere to run?
I don't know the rest of the words, to be honest with you.
Life goes on?
Sure. I've heard the song, but those are the only lyrics I know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a silly war. But the third War of Armageddon is the big one. That's the big one. And that is what we will be covering at some point in the near future. Next episode, we have Kirioth. And so there will be a slight, there will be a delay before we do anything crazy in the Third War of Armageddon. But it is a primer, because eventually we're going to be hitting that. So get excited.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of figured the Third Armageddon War was going to be a follow-up, because I was like, man, we're an hour into this, and we haven't said shit all for the third one. Ain't no way he's busting out the biggest one when we have just smashed into the hour barrier of the podcast. Unless he wants Shy to literally kill him, yeah, it's probably going to be a follow-up episode.
Save me from my mortal coil.
Yeah, if you kept going, she would have had you shuffling right off your mortal coil.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, everyone, great stuff. Thank you for watching. Anything you want to leave with Shy before? That's funny.
Who's any force? What?
That's so funny.
What? How is Herman Von Strab in the third one?
The demise of Herman Von Strab has been greatly exaggerated.
Oh no!
See him next time on the next episode of Dragon Ball Z.